Hey, Alex Joyner here, and this is the Midweek Update for January the 12th, 2022 for First United Methodist Church in Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm here in the home office today, and you know how I like to recommend books to you. Let me recommend a couple that I've been reading here. Reclamation is one of them by Gail Jessup White. Gail is a tremendous resource for our community. She works at Monticello, and this is her personal story of discovering her connection to Thomas Jefferson and the enslaved peoples of Monticello, and just a fascinating way of thinking about the new stories that we have to tell about our history. And I think that's going to be important for all of us. I think it's important for our First Church too, as we think about how we tell our history. The second book I want to recommend is by Clint Smith, and it's called How the Word is Passed, A Reckoning with the History of Slavery Across America. Clint is a poet, so this is extremely well written. But in this book, he's not writing poems. He's writing about his journey to sites across the country that are connected to our history of slavery. And the first site that he visits is Monticello. So that's another book I'd recommend. Whatever you're doing these days, I hope that you are mindful of your health. I know we are in the midst of a huge, unprecedented stage of this pandemic, and the toll that it's taking, especially on healthcare workers and our emergency responders, is great. And we want to be mindful of that. We're praying for them, and we want to make that a part of our awareness in the weeks to come. And you'll be hearing more from us about that as well. And we have services planned for this Sunday. We got a baptism coming up this Sunday on the 16th of January, and it should be a great day. And you can join us either in person at 10 o'clock in the morning, or you can join us online on the YouTube channel. As we go, I want to invite you to stick around for a minute. We had a presentation during the service on January the 2nd about our budget, about the Generous Spirit campaign, and about the new way we're thinking about the budget. And Jeff Taylor presented that during worship, and I've got a segment of that to show as well. And it's not too late to get your pledge in for the year if you are intended to do that, and you can do that online, or you can do that by sending in the card or bringing it to church on a Sunday morning. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And stay safe, stay warm, and stay powered up. God bless.
Thanks, Pastor Alex. As he mentioned, this is our celebration Sunday. It's the culmination of our stewardship campaign, themed A Generous Spirit, God's Generosity, and Ours in Response. On the left side of this slide is a snippet of First Church's line item budget. It's a spreadsheet with 85 lines. It's a useful tool for the Finance Committee. It includes the details of salaries, payroll taxes, apportionments, utilities, and it's necessary to fulfill our duties as stewards of your contributions for the day-to-day running of the church. It's available to anyone who requests it. However, in today's world, this doesn't inspire us to give. Today, following my presentation, and for the past 3 weeks, we're showing 4 videos of First Church families describing why they chose to pledge a portion of their financial resources to the church. We all talked about the missions of the church and their impact on the recipients. We want to think of our dollars going to service rather than tangible things like keeping the lights in or redoing the front doors. However, these missions don't happen without the infrastructure of the church to support it. Pastor Alex and I discussed finding a way to present our annual budget in a way that reflects this reality. He pointed me to a course on narrative budgets. What is a narrative budget? It's a communications tool to explain how the money that is given translates to mission, ministry, and impact. It's based on allocating the time of clergy and staff, as well as direct expenditures, to the church's various missions. From the online course and its materials, we've created First Church's narrative budget. It's based on a book, The 5 Practices of Fruitful Congregations. This pie chart shows our $641,000 2022 budget allocated to these practices. The first impression that I get when I look at this graph and the pie slices are that they're relatively equal, indicating that First Church is doing a good job of allocating its resources to all the priorities of a fruitful congregation. So the first practice is passionate worship. It's central to the life of First Church. Offering ourselves to God in worship, it nourishes us, it connects us, and it sends us forth to engage with the world. It represents 19% or $119,000 of our annual budget. The second category, the second practice, is intentional faith development. Our mission is to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And disciples are formed when we gather for Bible studies, small groups, confirmation, Sunday school, preschool, choir. Whatever our age, we want to keep growing more like Christ. This category represents 27% or $173,000 of our annual budget. And the third practice is risk-taking mission and service. Our calling is to be engaged with the world. We offer ministries of justice and compassion as we love our neighbors nearby and far away. This represents 21% or $136,000 of our annual budget. And for those of you who may have trouble kind of visualizing this includes support for our World Service Fund, our Lithuanian sister church, our downtown ministries, some help with a Haiti pastor, Impact, Wesley Foundation, Grab a Bag Ministry, and Habitat, and Witness, which my wife is in charge of. So many of the things that you see day to day. The fourth practice is extravagant generosity. Maturing disciples of Jesus Christ, we continue to grow in generosity, not just in our financial support, but also in the gifts of time and talents. This makes new missions and ministries possible, and it represents 14% or $91,000 of our annual budget. And for those of you who may have trouble visualizing this includes our budget allocations to Loaves and Fishes, Rise Against Hunger, as well as many of the conference mission funds that we pay in our apportionments. The fifth and final practice is radical hospitality. First Church believes in the people of our community because God believes in them and wants to make us whole. We also believe in loving the whole community and offering the hospitality Christ showed to others. This represents 19% or $122,000 of our annual budget. This includes our support to the preschool, our district outreach, the soup kitchen, and Pacham, among a number of other ministries. I hope this presentation on our annual budget helps you to visualize your dollars going to God's work. Our pledge to support the church tangibly and materially supports the spiritual and bodily well-being of our world. What a gift. What an opportunity. The decision to pledge is personal. Your decision may be based on your personal financial situation, especially in these tumultuous times. It may also be dependent on your giving to other worthwhile charitable causes. Or it may be based on other factors, such as your philosophical views of pledging. Why is pledging helpful? Pledges help the Finance Committee and other church leadership groups fulfill our mission with more certainty about how God will provide the resources needed to do our missions. Pledge cards are included in your worship materials today and were mailed out to you in the last week. I ask that you thoughtfully consider completing a charge and pledging a portion of your financial resources to First Church, as Patty and I have done. You can put it in the basket when you come up for communion today. You can mail your pledge charge to the church, or you can pledge online on the church website. If you choose not to pledge, we hope that you will continue to bless us and God with your continued service and support and commitment to service. Thank you for your time and your thoughtful consideration of this campaign.